extraordinary on Atlantis Television Network. My name is Kinsley Emmanuel, and I'm very happy to be here this evening to bring you up to speed with the latest happening revolving around the world of sport. Of course, it is actually an interesting evening for some Nigerians, as the Super Eagles of Nigeria, they actually went up against Mozambique this evening, and I can tell you for sure that it is a victory for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Triumph over Mozambique in a friendly today. And a whole lot of stories, of course, on that menu for we to dish out to you. We have issues coming from the Nigerian Premier Football League. So it promises to be another exciting edition now for the show today. So we'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll dish out all that you need to know revolving around the world of sports at the moment. Please stay with us.
Goal. Goalkeeper missed it. He does a right hand and down goes Paul straight away. Slam. He's a oh, what a point to end it on. So now this is winner at the best. And winner 12 years for this. So drink it in.
The Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Joining me on today's edition of the show is a man you know so well, Emmanuel Michael. Good evening to you, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Extraordinary.
Yeah, beautiful evening to you, Kinsley, and good evening to our viewers out there. I believe Super Eagles is making us proud out there after drawing against Saudi Arabia.
And now they've actually put up another performance against Mozambique. We'll definitely take a look at that particular encounter. We'll take a look at the performance of the Super Eagles in that game. The players, especially the goalkeeper of the team, talking about Francis Ozor. And it's going to be an interesting discussion. But before we do that, Michael, let's take a look at other matters revolving around the world of sports at the moment. As Sports Minister John Owaneno has assured that the federal government will start implementing the National Sports Industry Policy. The immediate past government of Muhammad Buhari approved the National Sports Industry Policy to provide opportunity for corporates and private sector participation in the development of sports in the country. But it was not able to implement before its tenure elapsed. Now, speaking yesterday at the MKO Abiola Stadium, Abuja, and said the current administration has endorsed the National Sport Industry Policy as both corporate and private sector play critical roles in sports sponsorship and infrastructure upgrade. Adding that the policy has also provided opportunity for moving sports away from mere recreation to business. He added that one of the key policy objectives for the present administration is sport can be used as a source of unity and peace and stability, so a source of unity, inclusivity in participation in sports by both male and female. I think John Owaneno, of course, is trying to make sure, of course, sports is taken to the next level in the country, trying to revive the policy being set up, by the government of President Muhammad Buhari. And this policy, of course, is actually meant to make sure that sports in Nigeria is not only for recreation, not only for sport, but to see, private sector, of course, coming up to sponsor the different federations we have in the country, and to make sure that the country start benefiting from sports financially?
For me, I think it's a good move. If there is any policy that will help to, affect the life of Nigerians positively, it is something that any government that comes on board, it doesn't matter whichever angle you or whichever party or whichever camp you feel you are, when you mount up the throne of leadership and you see that there is any policy that will affect the life of Nigerians positively, there is need for such government to toe that line, because government is continuum, don't forget. If the previous administration did not fulfill this by crafting out this policy, but time could not allow them to run through the vision and be able to achieve it successfully. And this is another government that have come on board, and they take a holistic look at this policy, sees that it is something that is going to bring food on the tables of Nigeria, that is also going to bring unity, peace, and above that, that is also going to affect life of Nigerians positively, business-wise as well. I think it's nice for them to consolidate on the previous, policy of the past, past administration, to be able to see that this thing come to fruition. I mean, it's a nice one. And talking about Senator John Waneno here, I think he's been walking around the clock since he came into office to see that at least there are some other areas that you can be able to give a facelift, to see that the sport ministry in general is well organized to the way that at least we will have a tangible evidence to show for it. So for me, I think it's a nice one for them to consolidate on the previous policy, seeing that this policy is going to affect the life of Nigeria for good. For them to build on this, I think it's a nice one.
That's one, of course. We hope that this one will be implemented in a very, very good way, and we hope that John Waneno, of course, just like he's been pushing, he actually gets what he wants at the end of the day. Let's stay away from that. Let's talk about cricket on the show. It was jubilation galore at the Jaffa Balewa cricket over in Lagos yesterday, as Nigeria Yellow Greens emerged as the winner of the Medina Nation of the West African Tour. The competition has been on the way in Lagos in the past few days, with the Nigerian side dominating the event. They actually defeated all the participating countries twice and reached the final to face Rwanda. The game against Rwanda was difficult for the Yellow Greens, but they found their way to win with 17 runs. Now, it means the Yellow Greens recorded a 100% record in the competition at the expense of a much better team like Rwanda, Ghana, Sierra Leone as well. Perfect record, perfect display for the Yellow Greens so far.
Well, because one thing is good, that we are happy. We are hailing them right now. They've been able to do their job out there. But on the side of the federation, are they going to do their own part of the bargain? And what are those bargains? Making sure that these players are properly taken care of, the coaches are properly taken care of, and other tournaments that can help to also add more experience to them, and exposure should also be organized as well. Not just when we are heading into a major tournament before we begin to rally around. At least it starts from now. Now that we've seen that we have a brighter future in the cricket, we should build on this. I think it's a nice one and a great one for Nigeria.
Impressive display by the Yellow Greens of Nigeria, and I think this win, of course, will be a very huge means of motivation to the players, the coaches, and the Nigerian Cricket Federation as well. Let's stay away from that. Let's take a look at other matters revolving around the water sport. The Nigerian Wrestling Federation, in conjunction with the Nigerian Olympic Committee, has commenced level 3. Has commenced level 3 coaching course for wrestling coaches and referees to help develop the sports in the country. Secretary General of the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, Haji Mohammed, In Haji Mohammed, in a statement, said the training, which commenced in Yenagua, the Bayelsa State capital, on Sunday, 15th of October, will end on October 21. He noted that the initiative is to enhance the coaching and monitoring skills of Nigerian wrestling coaches and teams, ensuring they achieve their potential in terms of building, equipping, and application of international guidelines, and aiding Nigerian wrestlers in reaching their peak in the game. Impressive one. What do you make of?
They are being properly taught the right things to do. I think it will help us also, because when we pass it to our wrestlers out there, they know definitely this is what the world standards stand for whenever they are going out there. So for me, I think it's a beautiful experience to see that this partnership is going on in between Nigerian Wrestling Federation and that of the world. I think this is what we should be doing frequently, so that we should be up to date with the latest trend or development in the areas of sporting. And also, when we do that, we are going to pass it down the line to the local coaches as well. So I think it's a nice one. It's a nice
initiative, and we'll see how far this will help wrestling down here in Nigeria. Away from that, let's talk about UFC. As former UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya has declared that he will be taking a sabbatical from the octagon just a month after losing his belt to underdogs Sean Strickland in Sydney, Australia, but promised to return to the sport. In a defeat, term as one of the most significant upsets in MMA history, Adesanya relinquishing his middleweight belts to Sean Strickland by unanimous decision in Sydney in September. His third competitive defeat in Sydney in September. His third competitive defeat in the UFC. The 34-year-old Nigerian-born Australian fighter acknowledged Strickland's victory and refused to make excuses. What do you make of this himself back after that defeat against Strickland?
Yeah, for me, I think he's trying to, cool off his head after that defeat to him last time. So for me, I think, a champion, whenever he loses, there's this psychological, trauma in his head. So for me, I strongly believe possibly he want to take out time to, cool off his head and, bounce back the possible way, because we know him as a strong fighter, a great, mixed martial art there. And when he loses his belt, you know what that means. So for me, I believe taking a couple of time out of the ring to be able to cool off his head and, focus on one or two things. And for him at this point in time, when he just lost his belt. So for me, I think it's a nice move, only if he can go and, deal with whatever seems to be bothering him and come.
Hitting contest. The Police of the CCS sent down 31 aces on his way to the first title at this level since winning in Miami in 2021. And Rublev 35 had not dropped his set on this run to the final, but was unable to stop Hookers, completing his 7th win in 8 finals on the ATP Tour. The world number 7 remains well pleased to qualify for November ATP Finals in Turin, and his 5th in the race to Turin rankings, while Hookers move up to 11th with 335 points behind Dan Hogerbrunn, who is in the 8th and final qualifying place. Of course, Robert Hookers putting up another impressive performance down there against Andrei Rublev.
Very impressive one, you must say, because I didn't actually give him chance, against the Rublev to do this, damage. But for me, this is the beauty of tennis out there. They say when two elephant meet, definitely the grass will certainly suffer it. I was opportune to watch the game online. It was a very keenly contested, game last night. So for me, I think I want to say congratulations for him to be able to bounce back very strong in that way to defeat the favorites heading into that one. It speaks volume of the fact that indeed upsets are banned in this kind of game, and when it comes, we put whosoever seems to has been making wave in check for him to be able to go back to the drawing board and prepare more better, knowing fully well he has a better challengers out there hoping for him. So congratulations to him.
Congratulations to Hookers in this one. Let's stay away from that as a U.S. top seed Jessica Pegula won the WTA Korean Open in Seoul yesterday with a straight set win over China's Yong Yu. The 29-year-old, whose mother was born in Seoul, is through 6-2, 6-3 for the fourth title of her career and second this season after Montreal in August. World number 4 Pegula also reached the finals in Doha and Tokyo this year. Pegula, who reached a career-high world number 3 last year, has never managed to get past the quarterfinals in the 4 Grand Slam. It was the first WTA final for 128th ranked Yuan, who's 35, who has never reached a quarterfinal before this week. Away from that, we hear Zheng Qinwen swept to her second career title, force on home soil at the Shanghai Open yesterday, winning a hard-fought 3-set final. The popular 21-year-old capped an incredible week with a 2-6, 6-2, 6-4 victory over Czech 7th seed Barbara Krejcikova to become just the 10th Chinese woman to win a single title at the WTA 500 level or higher after Lei Na and Zheng Sase. After winning Asian Games gold on September 29, the 24th ranked Zheng has suffered a disappointing first-round loss at the China Open to Elena Rybakina, but she recovered remarkably by securing the biggest title of her young career 13 days later. Impressive one from her down there, and we hope, of course, she continue with this impressive performance, going forward. We'll take a short break now, and when we'll come back from this break, we have a whole lot, of course, to talk about in the world of football. Please stay with us.
With the goal. Goalkeeper missed it. He does a right hand, and down goes Paul straight away. He's alive at the finishing. Oh, what a point to end it on. Now, this is winner at the best. It's winner in 12 years for this. So drink it in. Still goes to Ireland, New Zealand. Well, he loves to be immortality as an athlete. 19.79. It's a goal. It's 8 goals.
Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, we're bringing the latest revolving around the world of sports. And it's time for me to talk about the Nigerian Premier Football League. Michael, it was such an impressive weekend in the Premier League where we saw, the first away win of the season. I was saw different, matches, of course, in different centers. We saw about 18 goals, of course, being scored across, various centers in match day 3. And one away win we saw. And, of course, that away win came in the game between Remo Stars and Bayelsa United. Remo Stars getting up that victory by 2-1.
Very surprising for me, going away to Bayelsa United to pick up 3 points. I think it's very surprising. It's something that we have not seen so far since this league kicked off. So for me, I believe they've been able to, ink their name in the history book, for being the first team, in the NPFL 2023-2024 season to get all the waypoints. I think they've inked their name in the book of history. It was a very sweet victory for me because this Bayelsa United are very strong. Don't forget, this team beat Aqua United in the opening days of the league, 5-3 at home. And for them to capitulate at their own backyard, it clearly tells you that there's a whole lot of improvement in the NPFL, that a away team can go and pick a vital point and go back to their own base and nothing happens. So for me, I think it was beautiful to see. And one thing very special is that they even played one man down majority of those games, but yet they were able to hold their own. I think they need to be given kudos. They've been the first team to really they deserve to go home with all the 3 points.
And that's the big against Heartland FC. Katsina United played goalless against Lobby Stars, and Eyimba, of course, they got a win against Aqua United. 3-2 in the 99 encounter, Michael.
It's a big one for Eyimba there because Eyimba has not been firing from all cylinders this season. They have not started the season well, you want to say. And we said this even last week, Friday, when we were on the show, that that Eyimba versus Aqua United game seems to be the blockbuster game for the weekend, and truly it lived up to expectation. And again, Aqua United and Eyimba, they were battling they were just battling in the relegation zone. 19 and 20th, 16 on the relegation. So I knew that it was going to be a keenly contested game at the weekend. But Eyimba, had their own way. They had to, go home with all 3 points. I think it's a nice one to build the confidence of the team and as well to bring back, that chemistry, that understanding between the Eyimba team. But on the other hand, again, you want to say that Aqua United gave a good account of themselves, but they couldn't get a positive result out of that one because they actually, did the humans job. They played very well. It's just that they were not able to take their chances. They had one or two, a couple of chances that they should have buried at the back of the net, but they failed to take their chances. And the Eyimba took their chances, and that is why they went home with all 3 points. But nevertheless, I still see, Aqua United for this season to contend seriously. Even for the fact that they have not started very well, losing their first game, away to Bayelsa United, drawing their second game against Sporting Lagos, and again losing this very well. I think it's a bad start for them so far. But I strongly believe that Aqua United, with the pedigree that they have, I still strongly believe that they can bounce back. And for Eyimba, they also need to consolidate on this very victory because their starting this season has not been very, very convincing. I believe they are going to consolidate on this very victory and build the momentum ahead of the league.
Rangers, of course, beat Niger Tornadoes by 2-1, as Ambiwars, of course, beat Kano Pillars by 1-0 at home. Rivers United played goalless against Kwara United. Michael, what do you make of that encounter for Rivers United? They drew at home to Kwara United.
Very disappointing one for Rivers United. The midweek where they got all 3 points, we were charging them to go for another win to possibly get, 6 points again within the midweek and this last weekend, but they failed to, get all 3 points at home, where you should expect them to win the game, at least get all 3 points. But it was quite disappointing that they fired, blanks. And again, there's a whole lot of bad image incident that actually happened during the game where we were not actually very happy with the incident that took place. We had a report that, a certain journalist was beaten, to 2 points, which is something that is very, very uncalled for when we talk about football, because we keep preaching football without violence. And for me, let me zero it down to the game proper. I think Rivers United need to up their game. We keep crying that they find it difficult to put the back behind, to put the ball behind the back of the net. And this is another area where the striker, the coach need to talk his strikers to be able to be, do all those finishing. I saw, glorious chances about 2 or 3 times, glorious chances that they should have, converted. I mean, to win the game, but, the strikers were not all that prolific in front of goal. So for me, I think Rivers United need to do, a serious work now so as to be able to get to that shape where we will still call them as that Rivers United that we used to know, that whenever other teams comes here, they certainly know that they are not going to, go home with any points. So for me, I think it's a quite disappointing one, playing a draw at home.
You talk about, the incident that actually took place. Well, we got to report that, on the main pitch. I think they gave them, I think the other part of the pitch, of course, to train. And from what we got, from the body language from what we're seeing, it seems as if they were trying to actually do payback based on what happened last season when they went down to, Kwara United home, of course, to execute an MPFL game. But I don't know what you make of that gesture from Rivers United.
It's a very bad one because, for me, I believe you should not play back evil for evil. Now, they went away last season at Kwara United and they were treated poorly. It's not a yardstick that you must treat them the same way, that they come here. You should be able to show that difference, be able to show that maturity. And this is football. If there is anything that unites, in Nigeria, whatever tribe that you want to talk about, I think football is that unifying factor that can be able to bridge the gap between, saying that I'm from so ethnic group and we are. Football was supposed to be that game that can be able to bring us together in one table. So for me, I think I frown at such a gesture by Rivers United, treating their away team that just came here, instead of showing that hospitality, which is the hallmark of what Rivers State stand for. They rather, went to do the wrong thing, which for me, I do not truly support that. Well, if Kwara United didn't treat you well last time out, it's not a yardstick that you must also pay them back evil for evil.
And talking about the journalists, you mentioned actually been slapped or beaten.
Violent by Paluko. And this is one man who's supposed to be doing the opposite thing. Rather, he's the one that is fingered to be at the center of this, ugly situation, beating up a journalist who was doing his legitimate, duty out there. I think for me, is totally condemnable. And I believe that the Sport Writers Association of, Rivers State, talking about the SWAN, the chapter of Rivers, they should do something very drastic about it, because there are other subsequent reports that this same Okekwaluko we are talking about have this penchant of always being very aggressive toward the journalists, which is something that is very, very uncalled for. If other hoodlums or fans that always want to ferment trouble want to do that kind of thing, he should be the man that should be at the center of peacemaking. But he's rather taking the opposite side of doing the wrong thing, beating up a journalist for what? And for me, it is also another clear indictment on his part. If a journalist's phone was off and the person didn't know, all you need to come and approach the dog. My brother, your phone light is on. And that's all settles the matter. But I guess there is a journalist was recording it. Yeah. Because he who goes to Equi should not be afraid of anything. So for him to, assume or think that maybe possibly the journalist is recording something, it means that he's doing something that is contrary to the game. But even at that, must you slap? He should be beaten. And the young man was beaten to stupor. So I believe that this case should not end here. The Swan Sports Writers Association Rivers State chapter, they should take this matter to. There is a way to channel their grievances, and I believe they are going to use all the apparatus necessary to fight this very ugly trend.
It was not a very good gesture from the general manager of Rivers United, just like we hear. We hope that, of course, the Sport Writers Association of Rivers down here in Rivers State will be able to put things right, and of course, Rivers United being able to harmonize things, especially with the journalists and the Sport Writers Association down here in Rivers State. The other result we saw, Shooting Stars, they beat Gombe United by 1-0, as Sporting Lagos drew against Doma United. Not a result that Sporting Lagos, of course, expected, as they were highly disappointed after that particular encounter.
Highly disappointed, you will say, because you saw it. You saw it on their faces after the blast of the last whistle by the center ref. They were not, very, very happy about that result. But it also tells you that this is how hungry the Sporting SP of Lagos are. They want to make sure they win all their games. And whenever they get a point instead of all 3 points, they are not truly happy. This is the spirit of a champion. This is the spirit of a club that knows its onions. This is the spirit of a football team that truly, want to contend for the title. You must not be satisfied with getting just a point instead of getting all 3 points. But then again, you will also give kudos to their opponent who did their own, homework very well by being able to neutralize the attack, the Arsenal, attack of Lagos SP. Because I actually went through the clips of this game. I saw a very keenly contested game. Both teams had chances, but they failed to convert their chances, and they all shared the spoil. This is the beauty of the EPL. This 2023 to stroke 2024.
Beauty of the Nigerian Premier League, you see?
The beauty of 2023 stroke 2024 to be precise, because in the subsequent past, I did not see any beauty. That is why I say this is the beauty of the Nigerian Premier Football League for 2023 stroke 2024 season.
Okay. All right, let's quickly move on as we take a look at the performance of the Super Eagles of Nigeria in a game, in the friendly encounter against Mozambique. Michael, I know you followed that. Particular, game. I don't know what you make of it. Super Eagles conceded first in the game. I think that was at the 7th minute of that particular encounter. Then they came back through Terry Murphy goal, and of course they were able to make a comeback as well, getting the second goal through the man Frank Onyeka. And Moses Simon, of course, probably putting the third goal in that particular encounter. I think it was the second half of that particular encounter. The Mozambique side, of course, put one more, and it was 3-2. But
display, I'm not comfortable scoring 3 goals in the first half and allowing your opponent to rally back. They nearly made it 3-3. And again, don't forget, when we were down by 1-0, I stated that Super Eagles will definitely bounce back, because it's a true test of a strong team. Your ability to concede first, and also your ability to be able to score as much goal as possible so as to neutralize, that early goal. Speaks volume for you as a big team out there. Now, the Super Eagles came back into the game, scored the equalizer, and also took the lead 2-1. And Mozambique had a red card, which I expected the Super Eagles to capitalize on that red card by making sure they punish Mozambique. When they were at 3-1, when we were leading 3-1 in the first half, I thought that it's going to be a rain of goal in the second half, because of the fact that the Mozambique team, they are down by one man, and that should be an advantage for the Super Eagles. Now, a team that is down by one man, you are leading 3-1 at first half. You allow them at the second half to come and score the second goal, which made the scoreline very respectable for them. Because a team like Mozambique, playing 10 man down, they still fought so gallantly to make the scoreline very respectable. I think for me, it's a shame to Super Eagles because I didn't expect them, to struggle. And again, another indictment is on the goalkeeper, Francis Uzoho. We saw the first goal. It was clearly a blunder. I don't know whether it's the present Onana of Manchester United to Nigeria or what. These are simple goals that you should have saved. The first goal, I'm pretty disappointed, again, about Uzoho. And it also calls to the conundrum, the question, the reason why we have not been able to find out a reliable hand since Vincent Enyama quit the national team. We have not been able to lay our hand on a very strong #1 keeper that we can bank on and say, yes, this is a keeper that we can, hope on whenever we are going for any serious game. The last keeper who, had that confidence was Carl Ikeme. But no thanks to, is either leukemia to one ailment or the other that caused his, international career very short. So for me, I think Nigeria need to improve from all angles because we can't be playing minors in football, then we are struggling to win them.
Well, you just talked about Francis Uzoho, another schoolboy error from him in this particular encounter after what we saw against Saudi Arabia. Joseph Pesero, I think, went down to this international break with about, I think, 3 goalkeepers. We have Uzoho, we have the man Madiko Okoye, we have Ololeke Ojo from Eyimba. But why don't you experiment goalkeepers? You have, and this is a friendly match. You don't possibly, I don't know if the Super Eagles probably play another friendly before the AFCON. You have 3 goalkeepers. Uzoho, yes, we've seen him in the first game. Why keeping him full 90 minutes in that encounter where you have other goalkeepers for you to probably tested to see their strengths going forward in the team?
I think it's a question that he needs to answer by himself because I can't actually find any answer to that question. Because at the first game when we played against Saudi Arabia, you saw the schoolboy error that led to the first goal. And again, when he was granted an interview after that game, he was seriously defending the keeper, that the strikers who miss the chances in front of goal, we don't criticize them. We only pay our attention or focus on the goalkeeper. But forgetting that goalkeeping department is a very central role. It's a sensitive role in a team that a single blunder from a goalkeeper can cost the team a whole lot. But a striker will have loads of chances, to be able to amend his first or second attempt. But in goalkeeping, when you make that blunder, it will be very difficult for you to correct again. So for me, I wonder why he still kept him in the second game up till 90 minutes. Whereas you have other keepers out there, and this is friendly games. You should have used these friendly games as a test run for other keepers. But deciding to keep faith with Uzoho after seeing all this blunder, I think there's something we need to ask him. There's something we need to ask him.
A lot of questions for Pesero, of course, to answer at the moment. We'll keep our fingers crossed and, of course, take a listen to his post-match reaction, after that particular encounter. But what do you make of it from the reports we're getting? Super Eagles of Nigeria, of course, they had a possession of 61 to 39, so they had more of the ball possession in that game. But the Mozambique side, they were 1 man down. So I think we should have actually capitalized on that. Probably get more goals in that game.
That is what I'm saying. We're very naive in front of goal. That you are down by, your opponent is down by 1 man on the pitch, and you couldn't capitalize on it. Talking about ball possession, 60 against 40-something. What is the meaning of ball possession if you cannot be able to kill off a game within the space of 90 minutes when your opponent has 1 man down? And you are talking about ball possession. Does ball possession actually count for anything? Last time I remember when Jose Mourinho was asked, he said that Manchester City and Pep Guardiola can take 99 ball possession home. Why he takes all the 3 points? He doesn't care. So for me, ball possession means nothing if you cannot finish the game. We had 10 man down. You should have capitalized on that advantage. Make sure you punish this Zimbabwe so that next time when they hear the name Super Eagles, they will definitely accord us with that due respect. But for now, I think for me, they will be celebrating because it's a fair result for them. That 1 man down, and they scored even the first goal at 7 minutes. They scored the first goal. Well man down. They still fought gallantly to make the scoreline respectable. 3-2. For me, I think I'm quite disappointed to Super Eagles, to say the least.
What do you make of the two friendlies? Were ranked 40th. Talking about the Super Eagles, they're ranked 40th in the ranking. Do you think with this result there will be any improvement?
No, I don't think so, because when playing international friendly, the only improvement that FIFA tend to accrue or to accord to you by adding a point, so that to make your to make you climb on the radar, is either if you play a grade A friendly games. Don't forget, when last we played Sao Tome and Principe, we scored a 6-goal past Sao Tome at Principe when we were seated at 40th. Now, after the new ranking came, we jumped to 41. Why? But we beat Sao Tome and Principe. The reason is very simple. Those minor teams, in quote, in football, all these points doesn't count, because it is expected.
I think they were ranked at 41. After that game, they were just, I think, a slight move to 40.
That is what I'm saying. So it makes no difference. So I don't think there's any difference that he makes here. Beating Mozambique 3-2, I don't think that will change anything when it has to do with the FIFA ranking. And again, this FIFA ranking, you want to also say that does it actually, count for anything? Is this just the bragging right that you are seated number one, and some other team countries are seated number 50?
Or you're the best to reflect on the ranking.
You are the best to reflect on the ranking, but when any major tournament comes up, you don't always bank on the ranking just because you are the best on the ranking. Then you rest on your odds. You allow smaller teams to come and run you down. So for me, I truly don't believe on this FIFA ranking, but it's just about bragging rights.
Osimhen, we hear, of course, you'll be out of action for 4 good weeks. What do you make of